Hello, I'm Stuart Eglin. I'm Director of NHS R&D Northwest. This is the second podcast series. In the first series, we interviewed people who are research leaders here in the northwest of England, and we called that the Research Champions. This series is called Edgewalkers because we're interviewing people who walk the edge of organisations, challenge the status quo, and are working towards improvement of the health system here in the northwest. I hope you enjoy the films.
Well, I did my PhD back in the 15th century on the psychology of meditation, which was a, practice subject I was really interested in, and was just wonderful. I enjoyed it enormously. It was a great intellectual and personal exploration. And then I was broke. I had no money left after doing a PhD, and I was living in South Wales. I did my PhD at University College Cardiff, and I went and worked in a coal mine for a year, Oakdale Colliery, which was then the biggest colliery in South Wales. No deep pits now left in the UK, I think. And that was fascinating, particularly working with groups of miners in teams, and I realised that safety was utterly dependent on the team you worked in, and also that the team you worked in made such a difference in terms of how positive and supportive the environment was. You know, they were full of humour, full of camaraderie, and that made an incredible difference in a really unpleasant, difficult environment. And then I got a job working in research in psychology, which built on the fact that I'd worked underground, because it was looking at the transition of young people from school to work in Nottinghamshire, particularly unqualified or less qualified young people, many of whom were going into the mines. So I found myself back in the mines in Nottinghamshire again, interviewing people. And I just got more and more interested in teams and organisations and psychology, and embarked on a career of research, really, focused on how we can ensure that organisations are effective and enable the people who work within them and who are served by them to flourish in their lives. So that was the story, and it was not a planned journey. The stations appeared. There's no one thing, of course. I guess there are themes, there are people who have been influential. But I mentioned practicing meditation, which is, I think, about the reality that we're part of. And that's been a huge influence and has been a thread of practice running all through my adult life, and has been really central and really important. And I'm still active in that area in terms of practicing every day. I sit in meditation usually for an hour a day. I've just finished a new book on the psychology of meditation, which comes out this month. But people, so many people, I'm almost in a way, every person you meet is an influence on your life, because I think interconnection is what this existence is all about, and about our interactions. But people like Nelson Mandela had a huge influence on my thinking, on my life. The Dalai Lama has had a big influence in terms of his teachings of compassion. Mandela, I think, for his courage over many years, but also his courage in going against the people whom he led and averting a civil war in South Africa. An incredible person. So many people, wonderful figures like J.K. Rowling, who I think is, wrote the Harry Potter books, but actually is a really inspiring individual. Eleanor Roosevelt, my daughters, my wife, all of these people have a huge influence. This is a great mystery, our existence. We find ourselves here on this little planet in the midst of what seems to be infinity, as far as we're aware, and we don't really understand much about the nature of our existence. And to accept the handed down I don't know, rules, regulations, conformities about how to live in the midst of such a huge and wonderful mystery seems to me to be an error, that we should always be seeking to have I would say to have an attitude or an orientation of don't know, I don't know, this is all so mysterious, I don't know. And challenging orthodoxy, therefore, seems really important. I think the people who are wisest are the people who say they don't know, but whose lack of knowledge is also in the context of openness and acceptance and compassion.